Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing today? I'm doing great. Today, I'm just going to give you kind of a little update, say what's going on with me, and I'll leave it at that. I will say that I've lost another 2 pounds. I'm right on the verge of that 3-pound cusp, but I didn't make it. So, that's okay. It's no big deal. So I'm at 216. It's pretty crazy to think that I might be in Wonderland in the next month or two. It's trippy because I don't think in no part of this process was I ever like, yeah, I'll get down to Wonderland. Never really thought about it. Never really considered it. If it happens, it happens. It's wonderful. So I'm starting to feel like a normal human being, and it's weird. I think this whole process for me has been it's been strange. There's some people that like they look in the mirror and they see their old fatty self and everything, and I get that. For me, I haven't had that issue. When I look in the mirror, I used to always think, even at 470 pounds, that I was like a stud. Like I was like, man, you just look so good. And I look now and I start thinking, man, my clothes were, I thought I was stylish, and they were like, it was rough, and it was ugly. So, but yeah, so I've always looked good. And even, when I look at myself 3 months ago, I'm like, oh man, I still had so much weight to lose. But at the time, I felt like I was the skinniest guy in the world. So it's been really strange, and I'm getting used to it. I think that now I'm starting to, you'd be walking into a store and you kind of catch that picture of you in the mirror or the window or whatever, and you're like, whoa, normal guy. Like, you start to see it. I went to a triathlon meeting a couple weeks ago with some guys, and we were in like a workout room, so the whole room is like lined in mirrors. So I kept looking over at myself sitting there, and I'm like, wow, okay. I think the closest I ever see myself is on these videos when I'm editing these videos. So, so that's that. And so we're still doing good. I'm back to the nausea. So they did the upper GI. I told you I would tell you in this video about that. So they did the upper GI on me. It wasn't an upper GI. It was a GI. So it was an entire GI test. I didn't know. I showed up that day, and I'm sitting there, and she's like, okay, so it'll take about 3 to 4 hours. I was like, 3 to 4 hours? She's like, well, the barium has to work its way through your system. I was like, what are you talking about? And so she explained that my doctor wanted it from entrance to exit. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I entered it, but the problem is that I'm in there for nausea. And so they're like, drink more stuff, drink more stuff, drink more stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to throw up all over your stuff. And then where does that put us? Well, let's start over again. We ain't starting over again. So I just kind of was like, I'm stopping. I'm not going to go. The original ladies that were helping me, they absolutely were in love with me. And so not in love with me meaning they wanted my body. But I'm a kind of guy, I just joke around the whole time. And it was funny because the people that dealt with me after that dealt with nauseous Chris. And so they were like, I don't think they liked me very much. They're like, we really need you to drink more barium. I'm like, I'm not drinking any more barium. Like, forget it. Like, if you want to end this test and have me walk out the door right now, I will, but I'm not drinking anymore. So, yeah, so they had to go all the way down to my colon. And, but test came back fine and no anomalies. And then, of course, 2 days later, I stopped feeling nauseous. So I'm on like 4 or 5 days now without any nausea. And so, hey, okay. Other than that, I'm doing great. Feel good. I'm back on training. And I'll tell you guys, for some of you guys that are starting to train and stuff like that, or just like trying to get into shape, I've started doing something, and I'm very, very glad that I started doing this. First of all, I started thinking about I needed to have a more strict schedule to my to my training for my triathlon training, because I'm doing such a wide variety. I'm doing marathons, I'm doing 10 milers, I'm doing 10Ks, I'm doing 5Ks, and then I'm doing sprint, Olympic, and half Ironman all this season. And so it's like, in fact, I just added on a second Ironman that I'm going to do, or a half Ironman. And so as I started planning ahead, I'm like, how in the heck do I train? I'm like, well, I'll just train for the hardest one, and then, you know, just trust that I can pick it up on the other ones. And maybe about a couple weeks before, I'll start working on, you know, my 5Ks. I'll just up my pace, bring down my load a little bit more. But I needed to plan, you know, my tapers, my bricks, stuff like that. And so, and I think I was overtraining a little bit. I think I was really getting to where I was overtraining and maybe hurting myself, maybe causing some sickness. And so I just basically sat down and I worked out, you know, my long, my tempos, and my speeds, and on all three disciplines. And then I have incorporated a little bit of strength training. It's mainly core type stuff. But I had the openings, and so I was like, okay, I'll do that. I'm still giving myself one rest day. And it seems to be working out very well. It's very nice because sometimes I'm like, okay, I can do more. Yeah, but don't do more, because my body needs to recover and rest, and so just do what the schedule says. So I've started taking these big giant, the desk type ones that like teachers have on their desk, and I fill it out and I put it up on my wall. And after in next week, I'm going to sit down and actually pay for all of my races all in 1 week. And once I've got those, I'm going to put those on my calendar, and then so I can write down when I'm tapering and everything. And I'm going to fill it out and just put it all. I have this one wall by my bike where I do my indoor training, and I'm just going to fill that wall up so I can just look and see. And I've got goals set for what should I be doing this month, at the end of the month. Not goals total, like, you know, 300 miles, whatever, but more of what do I want to be doing consistently? What do I want to feel like? You know, it's like, right now, a long bike ride for me is going to be like 10 miles, which that's a sprint. You know, that's a sprint. But I don't really have it in me to go longer than that right now, and I need to start doing it by time, not by miles. So it's like I'm going to go out for this. Today is going to be a 2-hour ride or something like that. Like, I hope by June I'm doing 2 to 3 hour run or rides, and do, you know, 3-hour runs or whatever when I do my long runs, long rides. So I'm just incorporating all that, and it's really helped me. So it's something to think about, is write down what you're doing on every day, and then look ahead so that you can kind of keep yourself from overdoing it, underdoing it, all that kind of stuff. You know exactly what you're doing, and it feels good when you're like, okay, I can cross the day off. I'm done working out for the day or whatever. So, Sam, I'm going to actually just say this on video because I wanted other people to know. In Mondo, you added me to your friends list. I don't use a Mondo. I added you, but you'll notice that my last run was in like July, and that's when I found that phone GPS sucks. So I started going with I did 2 races, and I was coming up. It was telling me I was done, and I still had at least a half to 3/4 of a mile left, and I'm like, ooh. So I knew I was under training, and so for me it was like I wanted to make sure I did it right. So I got the Garmin, and so the Garmin is funny. The Garmin's still inaccurate sometimes, but it always gives me the right time. So sometimes it will say I'm done, maybe about 1/10 of a mile before. But my time is always like, if I start it right on, it's like keeping a manual timing chip. Whatever my Garmin says is my official time. So even if it went a little bit over or whatever, so it's helped me out with that quite a bit. But it's not nothing as inaccurate as phone GPSs. Those are so inaccurate. Other than that, I had kind of a win this week. I went out shopping for sleeper pants. I sit in this chair every single night, and my computer is right here, and I watch videos, sometimes comment to videos, and I have my beverage and whatnot all sitting right here. And by the way, this is a musical instrument, not a table. So, but I've been using it as a table. So it's called a cajon. So, anyways, I set my drink here, and I got my tablet out, and my phone out, and it's like I just do my stuff. I spend some time with Jesus. It's all good. So, if you ever wanted to know where I am when I respond to videos or anything, I'm sitting right here. So. But I wanted to, and I've got a space heater down here, so I just kind of get the space heater. It's like, look, you all warm and toasty. But anyways, but I didn't have any. All I had was running pants, and I'm like, I want something just loose that I can kind of just, let it all hang out and just be comfy in. So I knew I had to buy some sleeper pants. So I went out shopping for sleeper pants, and it was like the first time ever I went to Target, and I couldn't find. I just wanted some cheap sleeper pants, and I couldn't find anything that wasn't a 2X or an extra large. And I'm like, well, I'm at least a medium to a large. And I thought, yeah, right, a medium. So, I couldn't find any larges anywhere. And so I held up a medium, and I'm learning to kind of look at holding something up and saying this will fit me or not fit me. And so I held up this medium size pants, and I'm like, and I held up the small, and the small was just a little bit smaller, and I'm like, I'll just get the medium. I want them to be loose. I don't want the small. I'll tell you what, I could have got the small. And they probably would have still been loose enough. I mean, they are in no way, shape, or form tight on me. They look very nice on me. They're Angry Birds, which is hilarious. They didn't have any of the regular, just flannel or just even plain. So in any size, all they had was extra large or large. So I ended up getting Angry Birds, and so I sit here in my Angry Birds pants and a t-shirt, and always an oversized t-shirt. I don't have any t-shirts now that fit me right. So they're all too big. They're all like extra larges, and that's too big for me. But so I sit here in my oversized shirt, and I do my thing. So that's all I'm going to say this week. You guys seem to be doing pretty good. Watching your videos. I love watching your videos. I'm been sad. I've been noticing that people aren't making as many videos right now. I don't know. So, except for Banded Wendy. Wendy, you are making some videos. But, yeah. So, anyways, by the ways, I don't know, proper English? I don't think so. By the way, if I ever respond to a video or a comment on Facebook or anything like that, and you're like, I'm a jerk, I'm not being a jerk. I don't ever make too many serious comments. I'm usually joking about everything. It's just the way my life is. I joke about everything. And so, but if it bothers you, let me know. So, and I'll stop doing it. So, I don't have a problem with that. I think one time I wrote something to somebody and they were like, I really got the feeling like I offended them. And so, I'm like, okay, never mind. So, all right, guys. Well, long, boring video probably. So, love y'all. Peace out. Bye-bye. I'm going to turn the video camera off now. I'm going to actually stand up and turn the video camera off. You got it? You can just stop the video right now if you want to. You can. It's your call. Bye. I'm doing it right now. Bye.